untap, upkeep, and welcome back to the channel. If you've been here before, if you haven't, hey, enjoy the show for you today. So we're going to jump right into today's show. I visited a LGS just a handful of weeks ago and was kind of inspired by a younger person that was playing the game. They seemed to be fairly new to the game, and they were playing none other than this commander, Alesha, who smiles at death. During the gameplay that we played with this person, apologies if you're watching, didn't get your name, and if I did, I don't remember, but I don't believe we got our names introduced properly. But anyways, they were very nice, very fun to play with. This was like their only really good deck they had with them, and it's the one they kept playing with over and over and over and over. And anybody who has ever played this deck knows that even as a budget, which we're fixing to dive into, this deck is very powerful. Its synergies and its overall game plan are all budget friendly, and it's just a really nasty budget deck to unleash on people. Let's jump in and check out what we got going on here, shall we? So if you don't know, Alesha, who smiles at death, is a 3-mana 3/2 human warrior with first strike. All that's fine and dandy. What we care about is whenever Alesha attacks, you may pay either double white, double black, or any combination of those. If you do, return target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. We don't really care too much about that creature doing combat damage and like being into play tapped and attacking so much as we care about what we're getting back. Let me explain. This is a good old-fashioned Mardu, what we call Aristocrats deck. This is on a budget where at the time of build, everything but a couple of pieces, like, you know, Lightning Greaves and Cliff of Boots and Soul Ring, you know, that kind of stuff, was considered $1 or less at the time of the build. And it got me thinking when I was playing with said person that they are having a great time. And I didn't want to be too mean in our games and just wipe them out because I understand and respect how good this deck actually is. So I was thinking the whole time, this is a great deck. What would it look like if you had complete budget restrictions and you were like, man, I don't have access to Imperial Recruiter, Recruiter of the Guard, and all the tutor effects? How good would this deck actually be? Well, this is what we got. Starting off, we have a Cursed Marauder. When he enters, everybody has to sacrifice a non-token creature. Anafenza, Kin Tree Spirit. This is part of a combo piece. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to bolster 1. If you don't know, bolster says choose a creature with the least toughness among creatures you control and put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then you get Anger, giving all your stuff the haste. One of our sack outlets, Bartolome. I'm terrible at Spanish, so I'm just not even gonna try it. Bart. So for white-black, we get a 2/1 legendary Vampire Knight that has sacrifice a creature or an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on him. He's just a free sacrifice outlet, and you'll see why in a minute. Corpse Knight. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent's going to lose 1 life. Cruel Celebrant. Whenever it or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 and we gain 1. One of the combo pieces here with Anafenza is Lesser Masticore. For 2 mana, we get a 2/2 Masticore. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card. It's not that bad. We're kind of an aristocrat graveyard deck. 4 mana, it deals 1 damage to target creature. We don't care about that ability. I'm sure there might be a time where it's irrelevant, but overall, I don't really see a point where we're going to be like, snipe that creature. Maybe there will be. I don't know. I guess it depends on your meta. What we care about is this last ability, Persist. So, Persist says, if you've never seen it before, when this creature dies, if it had no -1/-1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a -1/-1 counter. Well, Anafenza is going to see that. And it's going to say, hey, how about we put a +1/+1 counter on it? And if you don't know, that's the loop. Because then they neutralize each other. And as if you have Corpse Knight Anafenza, and Bart, you go infinite. Unless somebody can interact with one of your pieces, you can just sit here and go infinite and you drain the whole table. Karmic Guide is another infinite combo piece. Hardened Academic, I thought this card was a smash. I cannot believe this card is still this cheap. I have this card in person and I love it. I haven't figured out what I'm going to put it in, but I do love it. So for Oros, so a red and a white, we get a 2/1 Bird Cleric, which, by the way, the artwork is just amazing if you haven't seen it. Just, love this artwork. Anyways, has Flying Haste, discard a card, this creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Kind of synergizes with the deck overall, because we kind of want our stuff to go back and forth between the graveyard. We'd much rather just, quote, reanimate the Lesser Masticore versus play it and have to discard a card anyway. And we can do this at instant speed, so yeah, if we have all the other pieces set up, and we just need the Masticore, for instance, we can set it up. But then it has, whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So this is kind of like a backup to Anafenza. It allows us to do another infinite loop of shenanigans with Masticore or in the other pieces with Persist. We just keep bouncing them back and forth between the graveyard. And every time they come back, this thing's going to trigger and say, hey, you want to put like a 1/1 counter on something? Why, yes, we do. On that thing that has Persist, so now it has no counters on it, and we can continue our loop. Gary, always just a nice little life gain synergy piece. He comes into play. You count the amount of black pips or the black symbols on the top right hand corner of every permanent you control on your battlefield, and you gain that much life. We can loop him a couple of times and gain some life, but nothing too drastic. Deathbringer Thoktar is a classic old card, so for 4 mana, plus a red, plus a black, we get a 3/3 zombie beast. That says whenever another creature dies, another creature, not just ours, you may put a +1/+1 counter on the big bad Thoktar. Then you can remove a counter from it, and it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So, if we don't have like Corpse Knight, Celebrant, or any of the drain effects, this guy's a nice, like, very C, D, and Z, I guess, whatever you want to like to label him, backup plan to the whole combination. As long as we can still do our loop back and forth, if we have him out, we're able to start putting counters on him and start plucking them away and start killing people that way as well. Or even dealing damage to things like, elves or goblins. We got targets. Probably want to stick to going to face, though. The Daily Bugle Reporters I thought was a really nice creature to have in here. It's a little expensive at 4 mana for a 2/3, but it says, when this creature enters, choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, or return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. I just thought it'd be another neat way to kind of keep our loop going, because we could sacrifice a Masticore, do the thing, and if we don't have the Academic or the Anafenza, and we have this guy, maybe we can sacrifice it, get it back, put some counters on some stuff, and just keep our loop going that way too. This is Lingering Tormentor, a very, very old card from Eventide. It's really on here because it's another combo piece. It's 4 mana, it's a really high mana cost, but it's in here because it has Persist, same thing as Masticore, just another piece. Mentor the Meat, anytime something power 2 or less enters, you can pay 1 and draw a card. Morbid Opportunist, and whenever something dies, not just ours, whenever anything dies, we can draw a card. It only triggers once on each turn. That can be done on your opponent's turn, just so you know. The Obstinate Gargoyle, nothing really special here. It's just because it has Persist. It's another loop. Same thing, Putrid Goblin is just a cheaper version of it. Everything just has Persist. That's all we really care about. Ravenous Chupacabra, we're able to have him enter and blow up something an opponent controls. Just a nice little synergy piece, if you will. The Stitcher Supplier, whenever this thing enters or dies, we're going to mill 3 cards. That doesn't hurt us as bad as you were fearing right now. That's just a nice way for us to be able to keep our graveyard full. Saddest of Robots, just a nice ramp piece. We can yeet him to the grave anytime we want to and draw a card. I thought this would be a really nasty include. Snarling Gorehound, 1 mana, 1/1 with menace. That's a pretty scary thing if you're playing like, standard or whatever. But this is where I thought he would do really great. Whenever another creature power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, surveil 1. So look at the top card of your library, and you can decide if you want to keep it or put it to the grave. So if the next card was, Anger, and we had Mountain, we can go, cool, Anger to the grave, all our stuff has haste, we're good to go. Or maybe we're trying to get some of the other combo pieces set up. So it's a pretty nice little combo loop. Skyclave, Apparition, nice removal spell. Basically, it comes into play, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent that we don't control, the mana value 4 or less. Then when this thing dies, that owner is going to make an XX blue illusion creature token, where X is the mana value of the card that this thing got exiled. And you can kind of loop him back and forth a few times with some of the other pieces here. You really can if you crank up the power level of this one. Selfless Spirit, sacrifice it. All our stuff will gain indestructible. Just a nice piece of board protection that synergizes with the deck. Revelark can go infinite with the Karmic Guide. You sack. You have Karmic Guide come into play. Gets Revelark. Revelark's ability is on the stack. You sack the Karmic Guide. Revelark brings Karmic Guide back. You sack Revelark with Karmic Guide's ability on the stack, and you can just loop them back and forth. All you need is a Sacrifice Outlet and a way to end the game with Drain or Thoktar, and you end the game there. Violent Tumor, pretty self-explanatory. He's just here to look through our deck and throw something to the graveyard. Viscer Seer, sacrifice a creature, scry 1. I thought this would be a nice include here, because you can always warp it in for 1 mana instead of the 3 mana when we're trying to go infinite. So whenever another creature or artifact you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. The Weft Stalker Ardent is very, very underrated in my opinion, and I'm right now very happy to see that it's under budget at 79 cents, but I'm here to tell you this is a really, really neat card. It's really, really nasty, and I'm surprised it's still so cheap. I'm happy, but I'm surprised. Henny, Undying Partisan, just another sacrifice outlet. I mean, he'll gain indestructible, sure, but we don't really care too much about that. And of course, Zulaport Cutthroat. Whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and we gain 1 life. So as you can see, we are a very, very stacked, very energetic. We are looking to kill the whole table as fast as we possibly can while on a budget. Moving forward, we only have a few sorceries. We have Blasphemous Act to just wipe the whole board. Seed-wide Bust, destroy all creatures with toughness 4 or greater. This is basically a one-sided board wipe. We don't really have a whole lot we have to worry about with this, so we just, bam, everything's dead. Yeah, you'll miss like the Elf Ball synergy or the Goblin synergy, maybe the Merfolk, something like that. But overall, you're going to hit most decks. Like, this wrecks pretty much every deck I own, because just about every deck I own has got like a big dumb idiotic dragons or something like that. So this thing just like dumpsters most of my decks. I'm like, oh god, now I gotta start all over. If I'm not ready for this card really, really hurts me personally. And I love everything about it, honestly. Kind of the same thing. Dusk, destroy all creatures power 3 or greater. And we can aftermethod get anything that's power 2 or less from our graveyard back to our hand. Don't know when that will actually be relevant, but the Dusk part of it. So we have basically 2 one-sided board wipes. We can just bam and just wipe everybody off the face of the planet. Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2, has flashback to do it again. Then we run into some of the funner pieces here. So we have Final Party, 5 mana, search your library for 2 cards. 1 goes to our hand, 1 goes to our grave. Love that. Buried Alive, search our deck for 3 creature cards, you put them to the graveyard. Victimize, we choose 2 creature cards in our graveyard and sacrifice a creature, put those 2 cards back into play. And then finally, Savine's Reclamation. 3 mana, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. And if we did it from the graveyard using its flashback cost, we get to do it again. We get 2 of them. 2. As you can see, this deck is really, really nasty. and even at a budget, our curve is really, really low, and we're looking to hurt people's feelings with a very, very synergistic deck that I'm proving you don't need to have OG dual lands. You don't really need to have the shock lands. You don't have to have all the fast mana rocks. Do they help? Sure. Do all the tutors help? Sure. But even on a budget, you don't have to have them, and you can still hang with most other decks. Moving on to our instances, though. We have Generous Gift to blow something up. Same thing with Stroke of Midnight. We're running Path to Exile. Swords, I think at the time of build, was still a little bit above $1, and this was a little bit below $1. Now they're kind of balancing out a little bit. So you could also swap out some of these other pieces for swords, the Plowshares. We have Mortify to blow up a creature or enchantment. Anguish Unmaking to exile a non-land permanent. We'll lose 3 life, but it's worth it. Chaos Warp to just get rid of something. Could flip something worse. We're gonna hope not, but you never know. Crackling Doom makes everybody but us have to sacrifice the biggest thing on their battlefield, and they take 2 damage. Then we have some card draw with Deadly Dispute. Eat a creature or artifact to the grave, draw 2, make a treasure. The man answers. As additional cost, we either sacrifice an artifact or discard a card to draw 2, and instant speed. These are all instant speed draws. I like that. For the traits, sacrifice a creature, draw 2, throw of possibilities, discard a card, and draw 2. Yes, there are way better things you can do for your card draw. This was just the stuff I thought would synergize very well with the deck, especially at a budget. But you know your meta, you know your play groups, so feel free to use it as a baseline and modify and tweak it a little bit as you want. Next up, our artifact package. We have Arcane Signet, Mind Stone, Wayfarer's Bubble, Orthoth Signet, Prismatic Lens, Aura Signet, Command Sphere, Soul Ring, of course, Talisman of Conviction, Felwar Stone, and Talisman of Hierarchy. That's all of our ramp pieces. We're not really too concerned with our ramp. We're trying to get Alesha out as fast as possible and start doing our thing. We are running Key to the City, so we can tap this, discard a card, and make Alesha unblockable. Not like that really matters too much, but then it says whenever Key to the City becomes untapped, pay 2 if we do draw a card. That's kind of nifty. We also are running another new card from Strixhaven that I really think is going to go very well in this deck. So Arc of Hunger, 2 red and white. It's an artifact that says whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, this artifact deals 1 damage to each opponent, you gain 1 life, and we can even tap it to mill a card and play that card this turn. This card makes this deck hum so much. We have so many things that just deal or drain everybody that they're just not going to get away with it. And eventually, we're going to be able to go off because they're only going to have so many answers, and we just keep threat after threat after threat after threat after threat. And I don't think they're going to be able to handle all of it. Our enchantments are even that way. We have Takasha's Welcome. Whenever one or more creature cards we control with mana value 3 or less enter our battlefield, draw a card only once each turn. It's okay. Next we have Behind the Scenes. 3 mana, creatures you control have Skulk, which if you don't know what that means, it says they can't be blocked by creatures with greater power, and we can always pay 5 mana and give everything a power boost. Don't know if that's ever going to become relevant. It might if all your other stuff has been taken care of. You might have to resort to the beatdown strategy. Just a nice way to kind of make sure Alesha is unblockable in some assets and some instances of gameplay, if you will. Finally, we have Bastion of Remembrance. Enters, we make a 1/1 human. That's fine, that's cute, that's dandy, but what we care about is this. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and we gain a life. Again, another way to just devastate our opponents with all of this drain that we're doing. So as you can see, even on a budget, this deck is going to make people salty, and they're just going to go, oh my god, again? It's like, yes, we're doing this again. Yes, I don't care. Yes, everybody's going to die. Have a good game. GG. The land package is very, very light as far as our color fixing. We don't really care too much about it. We're running 35 lands because our curve is very, very, very low. We have access tunnel to make something unblockable, like Alesha. Battlefield Forge, if I could ever speak magic today. Just a nice cool color land. Baduka Bog, let's just exile somebody's graveyard that's probably a graveyard deck like us. Cave of Kolios, Clifftop Retreat, Command Tower, Isolated Chapel. High Market, we can always sacrifice something and gain a life. Field of Ruin, always like having my one spot of land destruction. Evil Neil, looking at you, man. I will never forget that tabernacle. Fetid Heath, Exotic Orchard, Dragon Skull Summit. I have a whole stock full of mountains, a vast amount of plains, Rogue's Passage, Rugged Prairie, Shattered Landscape, Smoldering Marsh, a whole oasis of swamps, and finally a sulphurous springs. All of those is what's going to make this deck just really nasty. This is a budget version of Alesha. This is without all of your really good tutors. I mean, look at our mana curve here, everybody. Like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary. Look at this beautiful curve. We stomp out the gate, and we are ready to go. You can keep so many different hands. I wouldn't keep that one. Let's watch. Yeah, figured as much. That one I would probably keep. We got 4 lands. We have a Morbid Opportunist to draw some cards. We can blow something up. We already have a combo piece. We could drop Alesha and 2, 3. Hey, look, there's another combo piece. There's another drain. Oh, there we go. We win. What's that? Turn 4. Turn 4 win. I mean, maybe turn 5. That's insane. So the deck is very resilient, as you can see from just a couple of sample hands. The budget is really not bad, everybody. If you exclude the basic lands, the deck is almost $30. Almost $30. Surely you have all the lands, they're only $7. So if you bought this entire deck from TCG Player or Card Kingdom, none of them are affiliates, by the way, then it's going to cost you about $40. I mean, $40 to sit down and hang with lower bracket 3s, maybe mid-level bracket 3s, is not that bad. I think it's pretty dang cool. And, of course, if you have all the other combo pieces and upgrades, add them, modify them. It's not that hard. One of the things you can do is come in here. Like, we're in EDH Rec right now. I mean, Swords is, like I said, it's about $1.20. Welcoming Vampire would be a nice way to draw some more cards. Goblin Bombardment's a better sacrifice outlet. Ellis Core, I thought about adding to the deck. I just think we were okay with the amount of enters and leaves kind of things we had going on. You always got Skull Clamp. You have all of your Rakdos pieces here if you think you need more red-black. Murderous Redcap is another big combo piece here. He's kind of expensive, but he's worth it. Reconnaissance, this is an Olivia Gilbert Hicks go-to white card. Pay nothing, remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. There's a very deep dive in that, so just be ready. Lauren, blow something up and draw cards. Carrying Feeder, another cheap way to sacrifice things. Of course, all the mana fixing. We have Burrow's Charm to protect your board. Entomb to instant speed, put combo piece to the grave. Altar is another sack outlet. Imperial Recruiter, go find things. Peerless Plunderer makes infinite mana. Impact Tremors deals a whole bunch of damage. Reanimate if you felt like going that far. Elney is really nice in there as well. Enduring Innocence. What else we got in here? I thought Small at Death would be kind of interesting, but it might be too slow for a higher bracket game. So if you're trying to get a lower level, it might be okay, but if you're trying to go high 3s, low 4s, mid 4s, it probably wouldn't be good to add. Annabella would be neat if you're going more attacking, but we're more combo. Altered Dementia would be a nice way to help feed our own graveyard. Esper Sentinel, always a classic, high power level, draw a card spell. Then we have Recruiter of the Guard, of course, Phyrexian Tower. So I mean, as you can see, we've got some hits. Voice of Victory, that would definitely be a slam dunk for me. You can even add Kiki Chiki Mirror Breaker combos. You can use Ripples of Death, Grand Abolisher, Phyrexian Altar. I mean, all the tutor effects. There's Teferi's Protection. So as you can see, you could really put like 100 to 150 bucks into this deck, excluding even the land base, and you could really make this deck just very, very consistent. Of course, there's all the fast mana that helps you as well, but this has been Alesha, who smiles at death on a budget. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like this deck? Is this something that you've ever seen before? And if not, hey, build it, give it a shot. Leave me a comment how well it ran. Don't forget, watch another video for me. I really need the views. I could not do this without all of you that have subscribed. Almost 130 subscribers. Thank you all so much for helping the channel grow. Keep it coming. Leave me some comments. Watch a couple of videos all the way through. Put me in the background. Hit mute. I don't care. I just need some views so that YouTube can finally pay me, and none of you ever have to. So, not that your money's any worse, but they're a big corporation. Let them pay me instead, you know? I've been the Buddha Dragon. Don't forget, rub that belly for a minute, and may all your games be filled with magic. Peace out.